Welcome into the Backpage Podcast. You're listening to Niagara University's official radio station, WNIA. Backpage Podcast presented by the Niagara Wire. I'm here with myself, James Burns, my co-host, Jamie the Wolf Magone, Ryan Sully Sullivan, and Frank the Tank Heinzman. We haven't done one of these in a while because we were just on break.
True.
So this is might be rough. Probably won't be.
No, I think we're
going
to be right back into the flow.
We're going right back into
the flow.
Today we're talking first NU sports because we haven't talked about that in a while. We write about them, but we don't really talk about them that often. Softball and baseball might not play a game on this campus for the rest of the year.
It is miserable out.
This is the first winter, and I've lived here for 22 years. This is the first winter where I have seriously considered packing my stuff up and going to like LA or Miami or Phoenix or like Dallas. Like some big city where it never snows.
It never rains in Southern California.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What do you say? You're taking your talents down to South Beach?
Hey, yeah, there you go.
It might be too humid down there. Back to NU sports. Athletics might not play a game on this campus. Softball has actually moved their entire schedule, so their last 7 or 8 games of the season are their only home games, with the exception of playing Canisius in like a week.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that we won't be covering softball to the extent that we wanted to, not like last year, because we can't make it to any games.
Yeah.
We don't have the budget. We don't have I heard from Francesca on our sports staff, used to be a D1 softball player. She told me that they need 5 days of no rain for it to be playable.
5 days?
5 days
fields?
of no rain for like all like the dust to settle and for it to drain and like whatever process entails making that field playable. 5 days, no precipitation.
Yikes.
Sheesh.
Which seems like a death sentence
Unlikely.
for a softball schedule, especially.
Unlikely.
That's unbelievable. Like and so baseball just got a new field.
Mm-hmm.
When's softball getting it? When's softball getting one?
When someone decides
Right?
to donate money to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably what it comes down to.
Yeah, and so I wonder if the donations for the softball or the baseball field came directly for the baseball field, or if it was just like
Here, athletics.
Yeah,
Here,
who knows?
athletics, yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I'm not sure about those details. Yeah.
But it shouldn't be if you don't have they don't have a track. So we don't have a track. We're D1 institution, don't have a track. Softball and baseball, those fields should be able to like. You should just put money into draining systems
yeah.
like crazy.
Or it'd be so wrong to consider even, I don't know, having it where you could use it year round.
Well, it might be like just cold. Cold at that point might just be crazy. But what Canal Site does when I worked there, they had heated sidewalks. They had heated sidewalks where they would, it wouldn't be like 80 degrees, but they would heat it to 40 degrees, so the snow would never stick.
Yeah.
So is that crazy to think for like just the base pads? Well, the base pads are all dirt anyway.
Any of the
So just heat it,
yeah,
right?
Any of the dirt portion. Yeah.
I don't know if it would mess up the turf, like because there's rubber. I guess there's about a foot of rubber, like the little rubber pellets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I got those
that
are
might
that's
mess with it.
that's thick. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
yeah.
mean. So
Okay.
like, but 40 degrees though, like heat it to 40 degrees. I mean, it exists in 80-degree weather. We heat it to 40 degrees.
True.
Have none of the snow stick. Have it drain. We might have just fixed the problem. We don't have the budget for it. We might hypothetically, we just fixed NU baseball and softball.
It's like, and then just cut
hey.
to the It's Always Sunny Open. The Backpage Podcast fixes the turf or softball problem. Yeah.
All right, copyright. We can't say copyright.
Yeah, they're gonna come after us.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what isn't a problem. The Niagara women's lacrosse team is 1-1 in the MAC, but currently 4-7. They lead the MAC in ground balls per game and rank third in goals per game with 11.8. And this weekend they're taking on Manhattan, who is 0-3 in the MAC.
Did you see the stats? Rachel McShane, just
100 Club,
and Alexandria Griffin. Alexandria Griffin. It was like
let me see.
that was like an Irish last
I really
name.
don't know much about
Higgins.
lacrosse.
Higgins.
So can someone clear something up for me?
Yeah.
If you lead the MAC in ground balls, what does that mean you're good at in lacrosse?
Defense.
Defense.
Okay,
Defense
gotcha.
by far.
And Alexandria Higgins is now excuse me for saying Griffin. Alexandria Higgins is now the all-time leader in, was it turnovers forced or ground balls forced?
Let me see. I'm on the
I think it was-
I'm
I think
on
it
the
was-
Purple Eagles page right now.
Yeah, turnovers force.
Yeah, Alexander Higgins broke the career record for caused turnovers on March 24th against Iona. She currently has 73 caused turnovers for her career and currently ranks second all-time in ground balls with 141. All-time being the Niagara women's lacrosse program.
Nice.
So she's been just a force to be reckoned with on defense.
6 away from tying Kara Martin's record of 147, so she'll get that.
A lot of history being made in
what
women's,
record is that?
in
Is
women's
that
programs.
That's not. What, did she break Niagara's record? Was it
No,
pro-
she's second. But I'm saying
second,
Niagara's
okay.
record is 147, and she'll get there. No
okay,
doubt.
good for her. Good for her. And lacrosse 1-1 in the MAC. I'm fine with just looking at MAC standings. Look at Niagara basketball, for example, the men's team.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a good out of conference record, but they were third overall in the MAC.
They're nice in the MAC, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't reflective of their postseason success, but I'm okay with comparing teams to their peers and skill-wise, right?
Because ultimately, that's what matters.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're-
especially
you're-
for a school like Niagara, where like if you look
Smaller.
at basketball, we're not going to get an at-large bid, no matter what I think our out-of-conference schedule is. So
Yeah.
really, it's about what we do in the MAC.
Yeah. So, and that's who you're playing in the postseason too. That's who
Right,
you're playing against the
exactly.
championship.
Yep.
Manhattan currently last. Niagara is 1-1, which puts them at 5th. Canisius in first place.
Canisius has been, yeah, they've been an absolute dynasty the past 4 years. They've built a fantastic program where they're expected to win. I think for the past 4 years, they've won or been expected to win, and past that first championship, there's been a reasonable expectation for that team to have success far into the postseason, because that's just the culture that they've built. They are, I don't want to say the Yukon of women's lacrosse in the MAC, but they've built a reasonable expectation that they're going to be at the top of the conference every single year.
Right, it's just the mindset and
Yeah.
the culture that I don't have the coach's name off the top of my head, but credit to the coaches that have built the standard
Yep.
that all right, we're gonna go and we're gonna place top 1, 2, or 3 in the MAC every year.
And that's a two-sided, a double-ended sword.
Double-edged.
Yeah, double-edged.
Sword, where you have great coaching, great recruiting, and that's where it comes down in college. And for building teams at the professional level, point to the GM,
Right.
and point to the systems, to the coach. The coach has to do it all in college. The coach has to do it all. So guys like
coaches,
Coach Casey for Niagara men's basketball. Yeah, he's done great. I think Jada Pierce is on her way to building a program that's going to be good for the next few years. Softball and baseball, I'm more optimistic about softball, honestly, just because of pitching.
You'd think with the new field that you'd be a little bit more excited for baseball, but is that just a cover up for
I don't
not
get it.
so hot team?
Me personally, I don't get excited over that stuff because you win. You have the same team out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have the same players you would whether you're playing on turf or playing on grass. So it's a good story, and it's good for them. I mean, it's a nice upgrade. I'm sure the dugouts are nicer now, and the field is more playable. But me personally, as a journalist for the Niagara Wire, who's paying attention to baseball,
It could be played on the sandlot. Is that what you're saying?
I can play on the sandlot. Yeah, exactly. You got the same players out there playing the same game with the same equipment, same skill level, same coaches.
I do
same
think
players.
in terms of recruiting though, it could help in terms of the coach can be like,
Oh, sure.
well, the weather sucks, but we have this field, so it might not be as big of a factor unless it's snowing in April. But it's
Not only
a lot
April
of that
1st,
stuff
it is
you just
currently the
can't
6th.
control.
It is
Yeah.
April 6th.
Breaking news, everyone! It is April 6th.
yeah. In
And there's
case,
snow.
you're not aware.
Well,
If anybody
growing up-
listening knows of any jobs in LA or the west side of southwest United States, if anybody knows of any jobs down there, I'm graduating in May. Jamie's graduating in May. Ryan's graduating in May. Franklin's graduating in 2 years. So if you want to, just let us know. Just let us know, because that's my biggest concern for the next month is finding a job outside of Western New York.
What I was going to say is when we were younger, us three specifically, it was right around 2001, 2002. In May, there was snow in May back then.
Oh, 102. I don't remember that, but yeah.
No, I remember
For my
it
parents
was
growing up, they always told me that for me and my local town of Holland, we have a festival called Tulip Festival, and at the festival we had snow.
Wow.
Ugh. Remember, I think it was freshman year. We had snow from October to May. There was no break. Also, in Niagara University athletics, we do not give. We usually cover the past 2 years because we can't say usually because it's only been our second spring covering these sports. It's usually been baseball, softball, lacrosse. tennis has just had one of their players named MAC Women's Tennis Player of the Week, Allie Hutchinson. So let's just get that. And
Now,
then she's a sophomore.
And for the record, we would like to point out, as a podcast, as a news organization with The Wire, we cover teams that do good, or players that do good things.
And as soon as we cover a team that's doing horribly, and we say that they're doing horribly,
like it.
everybody just loses their mind.
Well, you know what's funny? I wrote that my last article that just came out was about baseball and how their pitching was struggling. And you know what? It was true, and there was no backlash.
No backlash.
Because they were like, you know what? We will take responsibility for what the facts lay out, for what the stats lay out, what the records lay out.
We never attack just for the sake of attacking. We attack bad teams and bad players.
I wouldn't even say we attack.
Not even
we
attack.
we simply state
We just
the
state
facts.
what's happening.
I'm just saying it's a hit piece. It's just, it is what it is. And it's...
Yeah. I wasn't
that
writing
was,
the baseball thing with malicious intent, like, hey. I was like, they are struggling.
McCoy, you take this.
Right, the team is struggling a little bit, and this is why.
That's
Or
all
that's
it
my
is.
interpretation of why, based
Yeah.
on what I'm seeing through the stats.
Yeah, never write a hit piece to get likes, or never clickbait, never anything like that. And the second we do, that's the second we start going downhill as a publication.
Or the second we stop as an organization, because I'm not letting that happen once you guys walk out the door.
Yeah, Franklin, our future sports editor. Boy. Good. But so tennis, good for Allie Hutchinson. I don't know what this means for the tennis team going forward. They have been historically, I've made a career out of this semester, mediocre. They have been historically mediocre.
They've been going through a rough stretch right now.
What is their record now?
5-16.
5-16.
But at least we're not St. Peter's, who is currently 0-12.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
I heard a quote the other day. It was from an astronaut, and the astronauts have a saying: "There is no problem that you'll have in space where you can't make it worse." So I always think about that. Like, you can always make it worse. It can always get worse. So be happy with what problem you got.
That's a really glass half full quote right there.
Yes,
I like
it
that.
is. Yeah, I liked it too. And I was like, oh, it goes true for astronauts, but like I'm also writing a paper right now, and that also kind of goes for that as well. There's nothing I can
women's
do.
tennis had won their first 3, then lost. Then since they won their first 3, they are 2-16.
What's their conference, right? Do they have a conference record up, or is it just the overall?
1-2?
Okay.
But they're 5-2 at home, 0-6 away, 0-8 neutral. So they love the home cooking.
Home field advantage.
They love the home cooking.
Ryan, your next article should be home field advantage when it comes to tennis, not
So,
baseball.
I don't know. Home court advantage.
Yeah, I don't know
home
what it
court
is.
Advantage.
I don't know what the NU tennis courts bring to the table, but compared
I
to
don't
other
know.
courts, but
There's a science behind baseball. Maybe there is for tennis too.
yeah.
But I mean, home court advantage. Go from home field advantage to home court advantage.
Thank you for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the Backpage Podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Let's talk pro. Pro playoffs are around. It says on our thing, NBA playoffs are around the corner. NHL playoffs are around the corner. We don't care that much about NHL because the Sabres are horrible, and it's. But NBA, what I've realized about NBA is that any other sport's so much more of a crapshoot in the postseason. Any team could win, but the NBA, I have it narrowed down to 3 teams that could win the championship.
I have it narrowed
realistically.
down to 1. It's the Golden State Warriors.
Well,
The Rockets.
because of the uncertainty surrounding Steph Curry and his injuries, that has opened the door.
Oh yeah.
For other teams in the West.
So
certainly.
if you told me Cavaliers, Rockets, Warriors, or the field, I would take those first.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah. 100%.
Of course.
And that's so. I honestly, God, I don't consider myself the biggest Cavs fan, but I don't watch the Cavs until the playoffs. Sometimes not even until the Eastern Conference Finals if they lose a game.
Basically,
It's just a given, right? It's just a given. Maybe this year less than other years, but
basically what's been happening recently for them in the regular season matchups against good teams, like against Toronto, it happened, and then just last night against Washington, is they will go down big, they'll play well while LeBron's in. They'll go down big at the end of the third, into the fourth. They were down 17 last night to Washington. Then LeBron will come back in and he'll lead them back to a win. So, I mean, it's just...
LeBron is probably fixing the games so that he knows that he doesn't play that well from behind. So he wants to get down early and then work on playing from behind. That's the only reasonable expectation, right?
It's almost like LeBron James is the greatest player in basketball.
It's almost like he's the best player of all time.
Ooh, that's a hot
Wow.
take.
Well, yeah.
I saw a Twitter thread, and it's on Twitter, so it must be true, of Michael Jordan, a bunch of videos of guys who were just scrawny, looked like they just hopped off of their post office route,
Okay, this
guarding
isn't
him.
Bill Russell we're talking about.
That's
That's how Bill Russell and
Well, it was
Wilt Chamberlain,
That's
like
what-
early Wilt Chamberlain. That's
how
how they
would-
made their making. Like 90s NBA was a really good NBA.
Ah,
I'm not
defensively,
defending
though?
Jordan, but I'm giving him much more credit.
No, I know, but there were just a few plays where like guys literally got out of Jordan's way. I gotta look at it. I think Big Cat on Twitter retweeted it or something.
Big cat guy.
Yeah. But yeah. So and it was just I know that you can make things look a certain way with certain videos and cutting certain things out, and I'm sure that there's been times where LeBron was guarded very softly. But I mean, how would someone like MJ do against like Giannis or Kawhi?
Very good because he's
Or-
Michael Jordan.
That's what I know, but that's kind of the whole thing is like he's smaller, LeBron's bigger and stronger. I don't at this point. I used to be a big MJ guy, like he is the greatest, but I'm starting to question that more and more. The older LeBron James gets, and the better he gets with age.
The latest thing I saw, I was trying to find it, but it was like the plus minus net rating or something for all the teams that Michael Jordan played in the finals are like significantly lower than any of the teams that LeBron has played. Like the net ratings, like
You think MJ
were
could
like
beat this
plus
year's
3.
Warriors?
It was like plus 3, plus 2, plus 1, like were MJ's opponents' net ratings, and then for LeBron it was like the Warriors like plus 16, like the 14 Spurs like
MJ
plus
never won
14. The lowest one was like 7, and MJ's highest was like 3. So I don't know what to make of that, but it was
MJ
just-
never won a playoff series without Pippen.
Yeah,
LeBron carried a horrible Cavs team to the championship.
MJ lost in the first round. Yeah.
Yeah. MJ lost in the first and he lost to the Spurs, which is the greatest modern dynasty of the last 20 years.
Oh, slow down there. In
The
basketball?
the Chicago. Oh yeah, basketball.
Okay,
Basketball.
fair.
The Chicago Bulls ended late 90s, so that's kind of when the Spurs started. But yeah, no, the greatest dynasty of the last 20 years.
Okay,
they just
that's
had
fair.
their 18-year 50-win streak snapped. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's
Kawhi
the
and
LeBron
their
lost
best-
to by himself.
Best player was hurt all year.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Or hurt. Who
hurt,
knows?
hurt. I mean, it's not worth. It's
I
not
would
worth for him to
I
come
would
back.
say MIA, not hurt.
He's not.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not.
true.
He's not worth it for him to come back. It's not. They're not going to win a championship. It
So
doesn't matter.
So I found this article last night in doing my research. It's an all injured list. It basically details all of the players that have gotten really hurt this year, like have missed not like a game or two here and there, but like significant time. And it was really eye opening. It reminded me of the NFL season in which like every star player was getting hurt.
Aaron Rodgers, Odell,
Right.
a bunch of
David
people.
Johnson.
David
So,
Johnson, yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, we could pick a starting 5 from this list, right?
Yeah.
Easy.
Who do you got? Who do you got?
All
I
right.
see it
So
right here.
Do you want to do
I
it? Do you want to do it by position, or do you want to do it by?
You just name
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, you guys can help me out with this too. We make adjustments. So I have Steph Curry at the 1.
Okay.
I have Kyrie Irving at the 2.
Yeah.
Let me see. I was struggling with the 3.
I think
Let me
just,
look one more
if
time.
I was a coach, I might put Kyrie at the 1, let Steph run off the ball, just run off screens and shoot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot-
Kawhi at the 3.
Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard at the 3.
Chris Stapps, Porzingis at the 4.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling between Boogie Cousins and Joel Embiid for the 5.
Ooh.
I'm thinking Embiid.
honestly,
Because
well,
I need a little bit more defense. Oh, no, I have Kawhi in there.
Yeah.
if
Kawhi's,
we're going like severity of injuries, like Embiid hasn't missed as much time as like a Boogie. I don't think Boogie's had the Achilles and stuff. Embiid, I think, is actually, if you would make a bet, like Embiid's played more games this year than I think Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, and Kawhi combined.
Joel
And, like,
Embiid has?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go to the Google machine and find
the
out.
goal machine. I think that
I mean, if he's played more than like 50 games, then I think
Oh, well,
he's got it covered.
the scoring's not a concern too, right? So you don't need him to score.
Yeah, I mean, I want a team that'll win, so I don't want
Yeah.
all scorers.
Yeah, so you have the scoring with Irving and Steph, and Kawhi too, and Porzingis. Yeah, so that's
Boogie,
already. So it really
Embiid.
comes down.
Any
yeah,
of them can score.
It really comes down to who's better defensively, Cousins or Embiid. Which I honestly I don't know.
It's
that.
probably Embiid. I would say
Embiid.
it's
Okay,
Embiid,
so I'd probably say Embiid.
Yeah, so, I mean, I put the list on the rundown that we use.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys
Yeah,
want
I got to pull
He's
it up
got
right
one
now.
up.
Yeah, that's a
Jeremy
lot.
Lin off the bench.
Honestly,
Yikes.
Gordon Hayward off the bench.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I would.
Cousins off the bench.
Patrick
if he's gonna
Beverly,
start.
Deion Waiters, Avery Bradley, like these are all.
This team might win a championship. This team might win a
If
championship
they're
it
not,
would.
if
they're not
It
injured.
certainly
Yeah.
would.
if they're fine, if
Yeah.
they're healthy, which
But-
they're not.
In terms of the playoffs, honestly, I think there is honestly more reason to believe there will be upsets because Washington right now, if things ended today,
Yeah, see, what is it now?
like Washington at the 7 could beat Boston at the 2 because Kyrie Irving just announced he's having knee surgery.
Yeah,
and he's
that's
not coming
rough.
back. So
Yeah.
that could be an upset. Honestly, I wouldn't be that shocked if Milwaukee, the 8, beat Toronto, the 1. I mean, Kristaps could just go off.
Wait, what?
Milwaukee's the 8, Toronto's
Yeah.
the 1.
Kristaps?
Giannis. Good
Giannis.
catch. Good catch.
It's been a long week, folks.
We were just talking Kristaps. It's just the foreign players.
Yeah,
that
that's
get
what
in
it
my
is. Yeah,
head.
they're all
Europe.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't pick Miami to beat Cleveland because of LeBron, but Miami's they're feisty. Miami leads the season series 2-1. Whatever you take away from that.
I mean, but it's LeBron James
and then
in the
Indiana,
playoffs.
Philly. If Embiid doesn't play, you never know. I think there's more optimism for upsets in the West or the East than the West, but
Well, because the West, you got Houston's going past the first round. Golden State's going past the first round. Who's Portland?
My Minnesota Timberwolves are coming. Jimmy
if
Butler's
Jimmy
back.
Butler could come back and they played Golden State without Steph Curry, I think the game could be pushed to 6
he is
games.
back. Yeah, he is.
All right, I think
available.
the game could be pushed to 6 games.
Who's
Or
Portland
the
playing?
series.
Who's Portland playing in the first
They
round?
just played the
OKC.
Rockets last night.
That's a nice series, but
That'd
well,
be a good series.
Well, they could fall out too. That's the thing with all these; they could fall out.
Yeah, I mean, they're all these teams like Denver and LA and the Clippers are within like a game or 2 games of the 8 seed.
The West is
and
really
7,
tight. Yeah,
So
I think I heard yesterday that the 3 seed in the West and the 10 seed in the West were separated by 3 games
Yes.
yeah,
as of yesterday.
I hope Minnesota gets in over like the
So do
Clippers,
I,
over
maybe.
like the Clippers, just because.
Ew, why do we have to watch the Clippers?
I don't want to watch the Clippers. That's the point. Yeah,
I didn't recognize the Clippers on TV the other day. I
Okay,
no,
come on. You got to know
no,
the
I did.
uniforms.
No, I did. It was the light blue ones. It was the light blue ones that I
yeah.
haven't seen all season. And DeAndre Jordan grew his hair out, and I don't recognize anybody else on the team. So I was like, who the hell who is this team? And I finally, it was like a highlight, so the scoreboard wasn't there. But yeah, so I was like, who is this team? Because they have all the different, like every team has like 12 jerseys now, which I thought I was a fan of, but
I'm honestly not opposed to the jerseys. This is exactly what I think hockey needs to do.
a few. Have a few. Why not have a few? I mean, a few is fine, especially if you're a team that can get creative with it, or you want to like switch up, like Boston. What Boston's doing is, I think I've talked about it before. The gray jerseys they have, the black jerseys they have, those look awesome, especially for a traditional team to switch it up like that. But like, I can see like the Lakers kind of going with their home and away and their white, so the yellow,
And they got
purple,
the
and white.
LA Night one that looks good.
That looks the light blue one, whatever they had, the light
The
blue,
the Minneapolis?
the Minneapolis one's cool. Even if they want to go like with the block letters, like back in the '80s, like a little throwback
That'd
like
be
that.
sweet.
That'd be
That
awesome.
would be very sweet.
But they started going black. Like they have like a black jersey. And
No,
that's
I
just-
think that's what I said. The LA Knights, they look sweet.
okay. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like black and yellow together. Looks like a bumblebee to me.
Okay.
Copyright.
Anyway,
Copyright.
Anyway,
Jamie, I did that research. It turns out Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, and Kawhi Leonard combined have more games at 70 than Embiid's 63.
Ah, okay.
Still not. That's
It was
still-
close.
Yeah,
That is,
still-
yeah, you're right. A lot closer than I thought it would be.
I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like way. That's way closer than I thought.
All right.
I think Embiid was on pace for it before he just broke his face or whatever. So
Yeah. Then yeah,
he
what's
would
the
have been
deal?
on pace for it.
Yeah, and yeah. So I think that you can really throw Embiid in that list because it's not like significant time.
Yeah.
But if we had to start a starting 5 out of these, I say Boogie, Porzingis,
Oh, hold
Hayward.
on. I said Embiid over Boogie.
But we
Yeah,
said,
but I don't know if he count. I don't know if I'd put him on
How-
this list.
how-
It's not season ending.
what's the
Uh,
total game? Like, what's the total game count that he's missed?
This list is season-ending injuries. That's what I would do it by.
Okay, so Boogie, Porzingis, Irving, Steph, Hayward.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
That's
Yeah.
that might win the championship. That lineup right there might win the
Certainly,
championship.
I would say would win the championship.
Well, I never know. Really,
It's like
You
5
never know.
All-Stars.
It is 5 All-Stars, but like so is the Warriors to some extent. They have 3
Well,
or 4.
but it's not. So it's
yeah,
not.
I know, but I mean, Durant's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And where'd you put Durant? Is Durant the second best player in the world?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's second.
Yeah. Who's third?
Ooh,
Maybe
I don't
Harden.
think anyone's ever thought
Harden,
about it
Anthony
that hard.
Davis,
Westbrook.
I don't know if I'd put him up there. I would say either like Harden, Anthony Davis, Steph are in those categories.
So LeBron, KD, then a crapshoot.
Then it's like 3.
No, not
then like
crapshoot.
3 through like 7 or 6 is probably like
Even.
debatable.
It's kind of like the
Yeah.
greatest NBA players of all time. You have
Oh goodness, here we
okay.
go.
well,
not
no.
again.
You have LeBron and Jordan, or in either 1 or 2.
Probably like Bird Magic.
and then Bird Magic,
then it's like Kareem, where do
Oscar
you put
Robinson,
them? Yeah,
Kareem,
it's just
Wilt
tough.
Chamberlain, Bill Russell.
I highly recommend Bill Simmons' book of basketball. I know it's a few years old, But I remember reading through it. It's like 800 pages long. First of all, that's an accomplishment to get
ranks
through
all
a
the
book.
players,
That's
yeah.
That's an accomplishment to get through a book that's 800 pages. But he definitely has a very good
I
ranking
think he
of all
puts
the
like
players.
Bill Russell second or something. Maybe. I don't know.
A little Boston homery, but
Well, I think
yeah,
he
it's
just
all right.
says the rings. I think that's his thing.
I mean,
Because I think he currently still thinks Magic is the second best player, and he puts LeBron at third. If that's his current ranking, he goes MJ, Magic, LeBron are his rankings.
we're the most fun players to watch. There are a lot of fun players to watch. No, not
Russell
like not the
Westbrook, Allen Iverson, players that would never win you championships, but that
They're
I
fun
would
to
pay a lot
watch.
of money.
Damian
to see.
Lillard's fun to watch.
I love Jamal Crawford. I love
Sixth
watching Jamal Crawford.
They really have to rename the Sixth Man of the Year award
The Jamal
Crawford Award.
Yes, he is one of the most fun players to watch.
Steph.
Just the way he moves on the
Steph
ball.
Curry,
Steph,
yeah.
Jason Williams,
White chocolate.
White Chocolate.
I don't really remember watching him.
He was. I didn't like watch him per se, but
on the Sacramento Kings.
I came across some highlights and some of the passes that he used to complete. There's the one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. It was a 3-on-1 fast break, and he was coming down the middle. So he's like at the free throw line. There was two guys on the block, like at that point, or like right to the side of him. And he had the ball in his right hand. He went for a behind the back pass to his left side. He brings his left hand around, punches the ball the other way. So it looks like I had to watch the highlight 5 times in a row because I just did not know what I saw.
Your
And
brain could not comprehend.
if I was the defender doing that and I saw like the ball going one way, then it popped out the other side,
I'd be like, sub.
I was like, yeah, I'm out. Tag me out. I'm going. But he's the player that's never going to win you a championship because he's fun to watch. But how far is passing going to get you if you're not Steve Nash?
Ben Simmons is a good player.
With Mike D'Antoni as well.
With Mike D'Antoni as well. Yeah, exactly. So. Catch issue 14 of the Niagara Wire coming out April 26th. It's our last issue of this semester, and myself and the founding members' last issue being a part of the production. Be sure to catch it on newsstands throughout campus.
Good talk OBJ. That's draft.
I could talk that.
Yeah.
Sick of the NFL.
Yeah, me too. We talked it for
mean,
2
You're
weeks.
not sick of
Did
Jordan
anyone-
versus
did
LeBron,
anyone- did
but you're sick of the NFL.
Did anyone listen to that yesterday? Why I sent you guys?
Not gonna lie, Ryan, I did not.
I actually, before you sent that, I had started listening to it like going to sleep the night before.
So
I don't think
good.
I got to the part you got to, but I listened to some of it. Yeah, I got through some of it.
Can we go through that for a
Tate
quick second?
Frazier and Mike Lombardi. Yeah. Yeah. What was his stance
Moving
on?
on to the NFL.
What was his
NBA.
stance on OBJ and the Patriots? Because I
So-
know he had a take on that. Lombardi did.
So moving to the NFL, OBJ to the Patriots has been the biggest rumor in the NFL to this point. You know, all offseason, we've had all these different rumors, but now this is the hot rumor. Yesterday, listening to, I don't even remember what it's
GM
called.
Street.
GM Street on
The Ringer
SoundCloud,
Podcast
on the Ringer
Network,
Podcast.
yeah.
They went and they were talking about OBJ. Well, the thing is, you look at wide receivers in the NFL, they're very irreplaceable. OBJ is, most people consider him a top 3 wideout, just due to numbers and stats and all the above. But
Top
nonetheless, he goes and he is replaceable. Well, what the Giants are asking for is 2 firsts, which is 2 players at understandable salaries that are going to be team builders for your future, and you're willing to throw away 2 guys who are at league minimum salary for a guy who's going to ask more money than a quarterback average. He's asking for per year what Sam Bradford is making in 1 year for Arizona, which is $20 million.
Yeah.
So
That is ridiculous.
OBJ is gonna be a
the thing
pretty
is, for
penny.
the Patriots, that's more money than Gronk and Brady, possibly almost combined. I don't think if you're Patriots, you do that. It just doesn't fit your scheme. And someone will probably pay that, but I also don't think that Giants really care about trading OBJ.
Do you really
that
need a
much.
great wide receiver on the Patriots?
They
Do you
just
really
picked up
need it?
Jordan Matthews.
Well,
they
the
just
thing
traded away
is,
Cooks.
the thing is, but you saw what they did when Brady had a great receiver. They darn nearly went undefeated.
Well, I mean, they had
combined with
one.
other factors, obviously.
They had one with Brandon Cooks, and he couldn't get the ball to him.
I would.
worth
He's.
it.
Not, I don't think Brandon
Just
Cooks
not
is.
even worth
Brandon
it.
Cooks is
Brandon
not a
Cooks
Randy
is
Moss.
not Randy Moss OBJ level.
Okay,
I would,
okay, Randy. Okay.
Yeah. And to your point with the Patriots, yeah, I don't think they're gonna trade for him because if he's even like suggesting that he might sit out until he gets a new deal, I don't think the Patriots are gonna give him that deal.
For that locker room, too, Bill
no,
Chuck
it's
won't
not
do
There
worth
it.
is
it.
no chance.
It's not worth it. You got
no
too many people to
chance.
keep. You got too many, and you got defense that needs to be that's getting older. They need to start thinking about for the next couple of years. Do you really want to dump all this money into OBJ?
You have all these other needs.
And you have all these other needs. And
Yeah.
honestly, you made a star out of Chris Hogan. Like,
Did you know
like
he played
that's-
lacrosse at Penn State?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made a star.
That's
You
why
made. You
Belichick
got him.
loves him.
You got him 200 yards in one game with 2 touchdowns. Like, you don't need a world-class wide receiver when you have the greatest quarterback of all time. Put Franklin out there for 16
Hey, man.
games and 50 plays
Stop.
a game.
I don't stop. I would. To be honest,
You
with
might get
I'm
200 yards.
I'm the biggest Bills fan probably in this room, but I would like to play catch with Tom Brady once in a while.
Again, if any of us
That'd be
played
unbelievable.
2
That'd be
minutes,
awesome.
if any of us ran one route in an NFL game, if it wasn't an out route, if we got hit, we would be done.
Oh
We'd
yeah,
be dead.
100%.
But no, if you throw me like a swing route and just let me like run right out of bounds, that's a completion with Tom
Like
Brady because he can make it work.
Like a Mike Tolbert.
Yes. I like to think that my body and Mike Tolbert's body are fairly similar.
Okay.
Yeah, we both eat a lot of fast food, I'm sure.
Watch out for the Patriots too to get in on this quarterback class because now with the Brandon Cook State trade, they have 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders.
That was the point yesterday too. On that was that they were talking about the Patriots really like Lamar Jackson, and he probably will be available to them possibly at that pick at 23.
I can't imagine after all of these years of watching Tom Brady sit in the pocket for so long to see Lamar Jackson in a Patriots uniform start running around. It would be so
The thing
bizarre.
with them too is like they would go in anytime you see a team lose their franchise quarterback. A lot of the time they change the entire offense, and you're not going to put Lamar Jackson into Tom Brady's offense. So overall, with Belichick probably leaving at that point too, you have McDaniels. McDaniels could probably utilize a new offensive coordinator with him as the head coach. So assuming McDaniels will be the head coach.
Well, the Patriots too have also have a reputation for snagging a great quarterback in the later rounds.
Yeah,
right.
and like today they went and
See
they had
Tom Brady, see Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, they might use those first 2, the first round picks, on addressing the aging defense.
That's true. They could just
They
build.
do that, or they could use that 3rd round pick or the 4th round pick to get someone who they scouted because whatever system, whatever algorithm they have, they've figured it out.
like Patriots, they go and they like Sammy Hubbard, so he's a good defensive lineman. There's a lot of good guys that they like on defense, but they actually brought in today Mason Rudolph, and they really like Mason Rudolph and his leadership skills, and he apparently has the most complicated workouts of any quarterback in this entire class. That he works all his teammates so hard. So that's might be something that the Patriots like, and Brady could really coach him. You can catch WNR weekly, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on SoundCloud. We are coming back to you this next Monday with numerous things, including our favorite things from the 90s.
Who is up for some opening day overreactions?
We're going to touch on it
I'm ready.
in segments, but the ultimate overreaction is everyone being out on Giancarlo Stanton after striking out 5 times. I know he hit a home run
And
yesterday.
then three times the next game.
Are Yankees fans out on him?
No, they're not out on him, but everyone's like, "Oh, he's a bust. He's a bust." Like, okay, slow down.
Who's got the
people.
more brutal fans, New York or Philadelphia?
New York.
I'm gonna go with
At the
Philadelphia.
moment, at the moment.
Probably.
Well,
go for
if you're doing baseball,
Oh, baseball,
if
New
you're doing
York,
baseball, New York, but for any other sport,
Philadelphia.
Philly. Yeah,
I would say
Phillies.
Philadelphia is the most harsh because they're the smallest city that have a harsh reaction. With the fans in New York, like it's the biggest stage in the country.
While
you gotta perform.
While we're overreacting, I would like to take the time to note that the New York Yankees are 4-3 and 2 games out of first. Meanwhile, the New York Mets are 5-1 and a game ahead of the Atlanta Braves
I would also like to
for
point
first
out
place.
that it is a 162 game season.
I would like to point out that the Mets just beat Steven Strasburg, and Cespedes has the same amount of home runs as Stanton. I'll just say that.
and sure, like,
And certainly less strikeouts.
Cleveland's 2-4, so I'm out in Cleveland. They're probably going to lose the division this year.
But you look at all the teams. A lot of these teams are teams that we personally like, of course. But you see a lot of teams that are really floundering kind of off the start or falling back further than you think they should. Washington hasn't looked really that good, honestly. And
Atlanta has looked really good, actually.
Atlanta's looked really good. And you look at all these other teams, LA, I don't know what's up with LA right now, but somehow, I mean, they're not a good team. And
25.
I'm a Giants fan and a Yankees fan off the side. But for me, the Giants being 3-3 ahead of the Dodgers, that's
a
frightening
miracle.
because the Giants are not a good team.
That's an actual miracle right
The Rays
there.
and the Marlins are last. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
Ryan, your hot Rays take is not off to a good start, but
What was your Rays take again? Let's.
I go
well,
on-
he just said they wouldn't be as bad as people thought. I guess. So I
And
don't
so
know.
I
They have a
said-
young
So they're
team.
1-6. But
Did you think that they were going to lose the first 7 games of the season? Because if that's the case, you're right. Because they've lost one
Well,
of the
I
7.
know Ryan was
Or 6 of
excited
7.
after they came back and beat the Red Sox, I think, to start the
first
season
game,
because
yes.
he tweeted about it. And I was like, all right, the
It
Rays,
was
you
a
know,
good
Ryan off to, and then they've lost 6 straight. But it's,
I think the thing with the Rays too is like obviously there's a lack of depth, and it's a lot of young guys.
There's a lack
but
of a lot
the
of things,
The
Ryan.
key issues with the Rays is for their top guys that they are going to rely on. They are struggling. Kiermaier over his past 4 games has gone 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 1 for 5.
The NL West.
Nelher.
Well, I was going to say the NL West. I'm looking at it right now. That might be the toughest division in baseball.
It is between
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
ballparks and pitching, especially.
Arizona, Colorado, San Francisco, Dodgers. If
Yeah,
San
you're right. I
Francisco-
forgot. I always forget that Colorado's good now.
Yeah,
so you're
Colorado's
right.
good now. San Diego's horrible, but those top 4 teams
Pitching
are...
is by far possibly the best division for pitching in an MLB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
touch on
I
the
think
game
so.
in that division for.
I don't know.
picks.
If you look at the, I don't know, the NL East.
Oh, here we go.
No,
about
but
the NL East.
look at the top 2 pitching tandems for the Mets and Washington.
I'm
You have
thinking bullpen, too,
Strasburg
though.
and Scherzer, and then Syndergaard DeGrom.
I'm thinking
I mean,
bullpen too.
Cool.
though, in
That's
this.
2 games. Give me 5.
Okay, fine. Then you also have Matt Harvey, who is back.
Oh,
and
that's
then for
another.
the
We're gonna
Nats,
talk about
for the
overall
Nats,
shit.
For the Nats, you have Gio Gonzalez. So you have the depth. I would even say Washington's rotation has more depth than the Dodgers.
I agree.
Yeah.
Overreaction.
And the
Great
Mets
bullpen
have
for
more
the
depth
Dodgers,
than
though.
the-
Great bullpen for the Dodgers.
Dodgers have a very good.
We're not talking about
bullpen.
starting pitchers,
Jansen
we're
has
talking
been
about
Jansen has been terrible.
He has-
games in the season.
So then why are you trying to?
7 games in the season.
So then why are you trying to tell me I'm wrong? If you're, I mean, if it's
He's
7
also a
games in the
closer.
se-
He's also a closer too.
Because he has a proven record. Jansen has a proven record. It's 7 games in the
All right.
season. Wait till June.
K-Rod set the saves record one year, and he was never the same after. I mean, things can change.
I thought
I mean, things
Tyrod.
can
I
change.
really thought Tyrod Taylor was the
Now we're
most
bringing
heated.
up Tyrod Taylor.
I thought
What
Tyrod
is going
Taylor
on?
was the
Once
most
again-
heated topic on this show.
Once again-
now it is opening day baseball.
Once again, James somehow thinks because he's yelling, it makes what he's saying
know,
more
I know.
correct. But
I know.
again, it doesn't.
I know. Let's go to segments.
Thanks for listening to the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Backpage Podcast to answer Twitter polls every episode and get notified when an episode goes live. This week's Twitter poll: where should we go to dinner for James Burns' victory?
So first up for segments, we have under and over. I just
Under and
touched on we're most of the under overs this week deal with baseball and overreactions. So our first under over is for I was practicing this name last night. Sohei Ohtani.
I think it's
Shohei.
Shohei. Okay,
Shohei
see, I got it
Ohtani.
wrong again. Shohei Ohtani has been lighting it up for the Angels. He's hitting like 420. I know, James, it's 7 games, but like, okay, he's hitting 425.
No, that's
And
good.
he
That's
had,
good.
he, had a, he had a
He's had a couple
reasonable
good
first
pitching
start too.
performances.
Okay.
We literally came into last segment saying, let's overreact. And then James yells at me for giving overreact statements. I don't understand what we're doing here.
Well, then I started screaming my head off, so I think it's just an overreaction from all around. We're just trying to make it fun for the listener. That's all.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That's all we're trying to do. Is we're trying to keep. We currently have how many listeners live right now?
I'm checking right
think
now.
we
one.
had
We have
one and he probably lost.
Yeah, we got
it.
one.
Oh,
I think we're peaking at like 20 online. So yeah, just make it fun, right? Just make
All
it
right.
just fly off the handle.
All right. So
What do you
over
got?
under over. So shoot.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani's batting average at the end of the season 275 and his home runs 18.
I'm gonna say
Yeah, can we do over
Can
for
we
one?
do
Under for
it?
two?
Yeah.
That's what I'm intended it
I'll
for
say
today.
under for average, over for home runs.
I would agree.
So under,
Yeah,
so under
that's what I was
275,
thinking.
over 18.
He's gonna be like a Chris Davis kind of.
Yeah, I think like 270,
Like a 260.
260.
260, 19 home runs, 20 home runs.
See,
I
I'm
say
gonna
like
go.
mid 20 home runs. Mid-20s.
I'm gonna go under for both. In that over the 162 game season, he focuses more on pitching. Because
Oh, yeah.
realistically,
He's
you
gonna be a
can't
good
play.
pitcher, too.
You realistically can't play every day. Like, okay, it's fun probably for the first month or two, but let's be real. You can't play 162 games.
When's the last person who actually did that? Like, is it Babe Ruth the last person to
Probably.
take on both roles? And
Yeah.
it's
He
been like
also-
almost 100
Effectively.
years, effectively.
And Ohtani went in his first start ever. He's the only player to ever go and have a hit and in his first game, and then also have a win in his first games.
What my question to your point, Franklin, would be what's the Japanese schedule like? And what did he do? Like, so what did he do
You're
in
asking
Japan?
me
They
about
only
Japanese
play-
No, not
baseball?
you, but like hypothetically, like if he did it
Don't
a
they
year
only
ago,
play 4 days a week? Or
They play 4
I have
days
no
a
idea.
week.
Yeah, so they have more
but
rest,
It is almost just as long of a schedule though. It's still
yeah, but like
year-round.
for pitching, he had more rest and stuff. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just what
So
I was
the-
thinking.
that's-
So he has
the
over a
thing.
week for rest sometimes. So they do a 5-man rotation. He could pitch the last day of 1 week and then wait a whole another week. You know
Right,
what I
but
mean?
it's not
And he
like
also
that.
won't be a starter also all the time.
That's what I mean. So you could do that in Japan. So like to your point, you make a good point that
Also
I
won't
honestly
be a
didn't know
bullpen.
I didn't know how the Japanese schedule worked, which is why I wanted to.
Yeah, because that's the thing too. But a lot of people didn't think he was going to be a starter because originally people are like, oh, he's going to be a 7th and 8th inning guy who you bring in for 2 innings or a guy who you
I
bring
could
in
see
relief.
that like every other day. Like, all right,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let's put Ohtani in the bullpen.
I
I
think
get that.
starting off the season though, they wanted to go and really get him ready and really give him that time to see MLB hitting.
It seems like almost like a step up, though. You know what I mean? Like it's a step up to
It
do
is.
Japanese to the MLB. Maybe he can do it.
Also, he's a
Maybe-
young guy still too.
Plus,
which is huge.
Not to stereotype, but the Japanese people are much healthier than the American people. They take much better care of their
Oh, yeah,
bodies,
100%.
longer life expectancy. I don't know what the workout regimens are like, but it's not crazy to think that he could do things that the average baseball player couldn't, because he has already. He's already been doing things that the average baseball player has never done in almost 100 years.
I think the overreaction with this though is a lot of people said, "Oh, he's going to be a great pitcher, elite pitcher." Just off his first game, but he pitched 6 innings. He has a 4.5 ERA, and also aside from that, his first strikeout, everyone's saying, "Oh, he is an amazing sinker," but it just fell off the table. It had no movement to it, and so if that was in the zone, someone could have just killed it.
Yikes. All right, here's another baseball overreaction for our second under-over. This one is an actual, like literally a softball. Like I'm throwing this one up. It's like batting practice. Do you know how you hit the balls against the wall? This is literally
Soft toss, yeah.
This is literally the easiest question. The Pittsburgh Pirates are 5-1. What their win total this year under/over is 81.
Under.
Under.
Thank
It's
you.
a long
Good.
season.
All right, we're good.
What's
Yeah.
next?
So Jordan Matthews just signed with the Patriots. How many touchdowns under/over does he get this year? The number is 5.5.
Over.
Ooh. I'm going to go under, but slightly. I say
I don't know.
5.
I'm gonna go over because if you figure
Amendola's gone, right?
Yes.
Amendola's gone,
Is
and
Gronkowski gonna be back?
and you don't know his injury. I mean,
Cooks is gone.
I'm sure
I'd
he'll
say
be
over.
ready.
I'd say over.
I think Matthews is gonna get hurt,
I think.
so he won't. Go
Oh,
over.
right. Yeah, that's right. He gets
Exactly,
hurt all the
yeah.
time.
But you think Amendola and Matthews both?
But
are similar
Amendola's
players.
on the Dolphins.
Edelman,
yes.
it'll be.
He's gone.
Yes, but both size and how they play,
Oh, I
they're
see.
both small position wideouts who catch the ball wonderfully. Like Edelman, both fast. Literally, you have 3 versions of Edelman basically on that football field every single time. And Hogan, him, and Matthews.
I'd say 16-game season over. If he gets hurt, under.
No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, you
Just
gotta
pick
take a chance.
Under or over.
So over. I say over.
I'm saying over. I'm saying 7.
All right. Oh, yeah. That's it for under/over. Let's move to the good old segment, RIP. I would like to go first. My RIP this week goes
Is it
to
a soccer one?
defensive end out of North Carolina State, Kentavious Street. Street tore his ACL in a private workout with the New York Giants,
Ugh.
and he was projected to go in day 2, in one of those rounds.
He's going to be like a 3rd, 4th rounder.
Right, and now he has to spend his entire season watching from the couch because he blew his ACL in a workout. R.I.P. Kentavious Street.
Yeah, I had one that I was gonna do, but we kind of touched on it earlier with the Buffalo weather and all that. So and James said something about soccer. So I will say, RIP to the teams in the Champions League this past week who lost 3-0 or 4-1.
How about-
so
here's-
Barcelona beat Roma 4-1. Madrid beat Juventus 3-0, and Liverpool beat Man City.
Here's a good
3-0.
soccer RIP, a little bonus RIP from myself. RIP to Juventus's defense for getting absolutely roasted by Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
I'd
well,
say-
all right. He had the bite kick, which you're not going to stop that. And
Exactly,
Then, and then
so
they
RIP.
scored the 3rd goal when they were into 10 men. So,
But
it's-
still, you can't literally. That's the definition of this segment. RIP.
How about
You can't
RIP?
stop the bicycle kick.
How about RIP to Man City's team bus? You guys see that video? It's a video from the team bus. They're going through Liverpool, and people are just throwing stuff, throwing food and
You'll never
just-
walk alone.
Yeah. So,
RIP.
no, yeah, they're in their team bus, and there was just crowds of people. They had the red smoke, whatever that is. Soccer hooligans are, oh my god.
in Europe, they are crazy.
Oh
They're
my
probably the
God.
craziest fans in sports.
Yeah, Yeah, like we look at football, like Bills Mafia, the Cameron Crazies.
No, I don't think it
European
touches it.
soccer is a completely different animal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go R.I.P. God help me with his name. Tony Finau, the Masters golfer.
No idea.
Tony Finau, R.I.P. his ankle.
Oh,
I saw the
R.I.P. his
video.
ankle. He's on the leaderboard now. Did you guys see? He's a football guy.
That
Or
is a
hockey.
football guy.
Like he was running. He hole in one the par 3, perfect shot, running down the fairway. He like turned around, started going backwards, and then just his ankle just gave out.
But he pushed it back in place too.
Pushed it back in.
Yep.
He's sitting on the ground. He's on one knee. He puts his ankle up. He pops it back in. He said on oh my god, was it Trey and Wingo or Trey
Yeah.
Wingo and Mike Goal? He said something like Wingo
Trey
and
and
Goal,
Wingo.
like Trey and Wingo and Goal. Like he said, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be taken off a stretcher in that situation. I gotta walk it off. But he says is the most excruciating pain. I don't know if you guys have sprained your ankle before. I've done it a few times. It is horrible. It is the worst thing ever.
Knock on wood, I've never had any injury or sprain or anything of any.
Yeah.
As have I.
Knock on wood.
Well, you guys are lucky.
All right, Ryan, what's your RIP?
My RIP is the shirt I'm wearing today. It's Henrik Sedin, Daniel Sedin.
Yeah.
The last
Very
home
nice.
game for the Sedin twins last night went in, a long, great career for both the twins.
Yep.
Icons of hockey, the best brother duo in NHL history, arguably. They have better stats, everything else, than even
Yeah.
the Richards.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Hulls.
Yeah, it's
They go in
father
also,
son. Yeah, but
in their
yeah,
final game
brother,
too
yeah.
last night, they went and they combined for the overtime game-winning goal.
That was so emotional. I saw the highlight on Twitter. It was
It-
so great.
It went in Henrik to Daniel, to Henrik to Daniel, to Henrik to Daniel scores.
Jesus, how many-
And you're like, you could not have a better way to send them off in Vancouver.
those two are they're the two of the most fun people to watch. I'll tell this story. I told it on WNR. There was when they were really good, in like 2010, 2011. I
Like
saw
when they made it to the Stanley Cup.
when they made the Stanley Cup. There was a highlight where they're on a 2-on-1. I don't know who it was, one to the other. I don't know if it was Hendrick to Daniel or Daniel to Hendrick. But so one had the puck. He's going to he's on the side of the goalie, on the side of the net. As he's skating down, he's almost to the goal line. He makes a pass between the goalie's legs through the crease to the other twin, and they score. Like, it was one of the most unbelievable ballsy plays I've ever seen. Like, and you can only do it if you're that good and know you're that good. Yeah, they are definitely two of the most underrated players of all time.
Oh, yes.
R.I.P. to the Sedins.
So much respect for them, and like growing up,
Fantastic career.
they were my favorite players growing up. With
Yeah.
me being a Sabres fan, and really it was just the start of my fandom in like 2002, 2003.
Awesome to have two
And
twins on the same team. Like, that's awesome.
You can't not get behind these guys.
No, it's tough to not like the Sedins unless you're a Calgary fan or you're an Edmonton fan.
Even
Unless you
still,
play
you
them all
gotta
the
respect
time.
them.
You
Yeah,
gotta
like,
respect
yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's like how Franklin, you would feel about Big Papi as a Yankees fan.
See, I
You'll
respect,
never hate Big Papi, but you'll respect. Well, you might hate him, but you
I
always
think you can
respect
him and respect
You
him.
can respect
Yeah,
him.
like Tom
It's like
Brady.
Red Sox with
Tom Brady,
with
yeah.
Jeter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never-
yeah,
You're never gonna say Tom Brady sucks.
Right.
You're never gonna say Derek Jeter's horrible. Know that you recognize greatness.
So just to wrap it up, I kind of lost track of everyone's RIP. I did
Yeah, me too.
Contavious Street,
The teams in the Champions League. that
Champions
got
League,
smoked. Yeah.
the dude who busted his ankle,
Yep.
and the Sedin brothers. Okay.
that's a good RIP. That was a good.
Alrighty,
good
last
mix.
but not least, let's do picks. But before we actually pick some games, we have an announcement. What we planned on doing for picks in the all-time standings is that whoever came in last would have to drive the Backpage Podcast crew to Toronto for a
Yep.
Blue Jays game.
Yep.
But Ryan has volunteered.
And he's in last. So
He
I think it's just
volunteered
kind of
his
his way to
tribute.
say like, oh well, I wanted to
He
do it anyway.
conceded,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So are we calling it there, or can we think of a new punishment?
Are we talking about the March Madness bracket?
Oh yeah,
I'm just curious if
while
we're
you bring
gonna-
that up, James Burns was the winner of the back page. We tweeted about it. James Burns, the only one clapping, and we will not be adding any sound effects. But James Burns won the tournament challenge, so he gets to pick where we go to dinner.
Thank you, Nova.
We're going to Buffalo.
And first in picks is currently Jamie. We had 20 and 12, so as of right now, he gets his Blue Jays ticket paid for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in second, only a game back.
Winning the
Ja-
dinner is a better investment, probably. But
James
Oh, completely,
is
100%. Yeah, the tickets are like $8.
Yeah, James is in third at 500 at 16 and 16, and Ryan, like we said, is in last with 14 and 18. So let's think of this on the spot right now.
Okay.
We need a new punishment for last.
No, I don't. Just let him drive to Toronto. No one else wants to drive to Toronto. Just let him drive to Toronto.
Punishment.
Yeah, that's.
Having watched the Blue Jays is punishing enough.
Oh, hey.
All right,
Picks.
All right,
Maybe we'll
fair,
get an
fair.
Aaron Sanchez game.
All right,
Picks.
first pick. we have the St. Louis Blues taking on the Colorado Avalanche Saturday at 9 p.m. with a wild card spot on the line. Who does everyone have?
Avalanche.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, because depth wins in the playoffs, and Colorado, yeah, they're a good team, good story, but no, they're not going to make it.
I will also take St. Louis.
All right.
Wow, that could be Franklin gaining the game on me.
Yeah.
The reason I'm taking Avalanche because they have a 17 goal differential, and the Blues only have 4.
You got to look at goaltending, too, though.
I
That's
feel like
exactly what
goaltending
I
is
was
lumped
thinking.
into that.
Jamie doesn't follow the NHL.
Yeah,
Nope.
Carter Sutton's lighting it up. I
Yeah,
don't know if you
having
noticed.
an NHL game in here at all is kind of detrimental to me.
also
My
matchup-
pick
We've done it for
standings,
how
so-
many weeks?
And also, the matchup is
So,
Jonathan
I've
Bernier
been
versus
playing
Jake
with,
Allen.
I've been playing with fire
In
this whole year.
detrimental. What's next, Frank?
Alrighty, next up, the Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Cardinals Saturday at 2:15. Zach Greinke takes the mound against Michael Wacha.
Waka waka.
I'm going Cardinals. I'm going to have Michael Walker on my fantasy team. He is good stuff. And the Cardinals, even though they're not in first place with the Mets, and they're not in second place even, they are a really good team.
I'll take Greinke over Waka. Torey Lavello is a family
Go
friend.
Bisons!
Yeah, Torey Lavello is a family friend. I'll take the Diamondbacks.
Really? He's a
Yep.
family friend.
Yep.
His nephews grew up, and I went to school with them in Holland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I will also take the D-backs. I think Zach Greinke is getting paid way too much for what he
Well,
produces,
yeah.
but ultimately he's the ace of the staff, so I'll take the D-backs.
Yeah, D-backs are off to a hot start. Greinke over Waka would be my take. Yeah, so D-backs.
Last but not least, we have in what could be a playoff preview. Excuse me. The Cleveland Cavaliers take on the 76ers tonight at 7 p.m.
That's tough.
76ers have been really hot, and they're coming off an off day. Cavs just played a really hard-fought game last night, and now they're playing again tonight. It's a back-to-back in Philadelphia. So I'm going to go with the 76ers.
As am I. Trust the process.
I'll go with the Cavs. I'll go with the no Embiid, momentum from a big win. Cavs.
I'll join James on this one. Let's split it even. Cavs will win this
Well,
one.
that doesn't help our cause, Jamie. We're trying to beat each
if
other.
if the Blues beat the Avalanche, we're tied. If the Avalanche beat the Blues, then I'm 2 games ahead. So that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
I'll see what happens.
So it'll be
Go
interesting
Blues.
still.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning into the Backpage Podcast. Be sure to follow along on YouTube and SoundCloud and Twitter to answer this week's Twitter poll, which is Franklin. Do we have a Twitter poll? Where should we go to dinner in Buffalo? We'll put up some options.
Yeah, have people vote.
Where should we go to
Have
Twitter?
people vote.
And we might do a type of food or a specific place if I think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we go-
ultimately it's James's pick, so he will be the one putting down the places.
Pub, Mexican, Italian.
Ultimately he's the one picking the places, but very gracious of him to let the Backpage Podcast listeners choose.
Well, you know what? I'm not picky with food either. I'm not. And in Buffalo, it's tough to find a bad meal if you don't go to a chain. So, yeah, some of the worst drivers in the world, some of the best food in the world, Buffalo, New York. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the Backpage Podcast presented by the Niagara Wire. Catch us on Dumpster Fire Monday, where we pick the worst games in sports and talk all things sports, as well as an episode with WNR coming beforehand. Thank you for tuning in.